Mahaganapatin Manasa Smarami Mahadeva Mudam Shirasa Namami Mahaganapatin Manasa Smarami. If we look into the various words we employ to communicate, we see any language, we see there are words talking about attributes, substantives. Flower, substantive. Then rose flower, red flower. Then you have the rose itself can be a substantive. You can say red rose. So attribute, substantive. Action in terms of time, past, present and future, action. Then we use, there are other words we have, names of places, names of people and so on, proper nouns and so on. Then certain words talking about our emotions, like love, compassion, sympathy, anger, and so on. We have words describing our emotions. Then we have words even, of angas, different angas. These are all, they come under substantives. Liver, kidney, and so on. Angas. So we can say the words are different types of words we have. There are certain other words which do not really have an object. See, when you say green leaf, green is a quality which you can see in that leaf. It's a green leaf. A red flower, you can see the red color in that flower. A big mountain, you can see the bigness of the mountain. But you cannot see anything. There are words like that. You can't see it. You say beautiful. You can't see anything beautiful, but your response, your appreciation, you say this is beautiful. The other fellow wonders why he says this is beautiful. Because his concept of beauty is different. Understand? Culture-wise, it's all different. Like in America, if all your cheekbones are out, visible, and then you can play string on the ribs, then considered to be the most beautiful person. And in India, such a person will be looked upon as power. This anemic and this is it's something like a skeleton walking with some skin on, So they don't consider there is anything. This is beautiful. Cultural differences. So the concept of beauty is highly subjective. And anyway, so this is all, still there is something to say. There is still something to see. You can say whether it is beautiful or not. That's why this word beautiful, etc., you will not. It has to be used, these words have to be used very, very carefully. Now, all this, of course, you can express your wonderment and saying awesome. You know, this typical American. Awesome. And you express your response to something. It's all appreciable, understandable. But I would like, there are still some words we use for which there is no real object. There is no object, there's just some kind of your emotional response, your appreciation of something. No. It is entirely different. Like, this is false. When you say, this is false, what is the object there? There is no object. A statement, this is false. A square circle. What do you think about it? The square circle. What do you think about it? A circular square. What do you think about that? That's a little for a change, you know. A circular square. Words are there, but there is nothing to think about. Why? Because it doesn't exist. It is non-existent. So what is non-existent? Is there anything there? No. So what is that word non-existent? In Sanskrit, tucham. Non-existent. It's not an object. It's not a quantity. It's not a quality. It's not action. It's not your wonderment, your emotion. I love this non-existent thing. It's not. It is your understanding of a certain holy combination, unholy combination. How do you say holy combination? Unholy combination of what? Square exists, a circle exists, but square circle don't exist. All non-existent things, if you analyze, they are compounds. They are always unholy compounds. Turtle hair. Rough eggshell. A rough eggshell, you know, doesn't exist. So far I have not seen, okay? There are a lot of things which don't exist. Always combination. So we used to give a stock example, Vandya Putraha. These days I don't use because they will have some kind of putra. This is all bamboo. So don't use this Vandya Putra, etc. I gave it up. Then we have to put all classes. Vandya means the one who never gave birth to a child. Son of that woman who never gave birth to a child. You can have. The surrogate mother and all that, you know. So you can have. My own son, somebody rented the place for the child to grow and then came out. So this is available for rent. You know. Therefore you can say, my own son, Vandya but Putra, Mama Putra. Therefore, be careful. These old examples don't work here. I don't use that anymore. And you cannot say, he's a foolish, intelligent man. It's a new thing I have created now. He is a foolish, intelligent man. He is a bad saint. All these are all contradictions. You say, such things don't exist. A lot of things like that. All combinations. This is all what I want to say. They are all combinations. Non-existent thing is only a combination. Certain combinations don't exist. Think of a non-existent thing which doesn't combine with something. It doesn't exist. It will become Brahman, I tell you. That is why in Indian mathematics, there is no zero. We have no zero. We have only pujyam. Zero is shunyam. But we don't call it shunyam, pujyam. Only when you give marks to that fellow, zero, shunyam. He scored shunyam. But really what he got was puja. So puja means like, suppose you go, you take one, a unit, and then you divide it. Let us get to 0. 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, 0.001, you can keep on telling and then hand over your effort to your grandson also. Son, grandson, and everybody. Let them repeat for generations. You will never get to 0. Correct? There will be no 0. Puja. Your effort will go to infinity. That's all. That is what infinity is. You never come to an end. Therefore, 0 we don't accept because the one who says there is 0 is existing. There is no 0. There is no abhava. There is no shunya. Because shunya implies the presence of a person who talks about shunya. In fact, when you say shunya, you only say I exist. Neither subject nor object. So neither object nor subject is shunya. That shunya is satyam. That is what we are going to talk about later. That is puja. But I say, all your non-existent thing that you talk about is an unholy compound. Then there are words that we reveal, which don't reveal an object. Then what is that? Word like false. False. What do you mean by false? It's not an object. False is not an attribute also. Sticking to something. It is your understanding of something as false. It doesn't exist again. But it's a false statement. It is false. It was a false perception. It's a false statement. God came to me in dream and told me that He never comes in dreams. How is that? One whole religion is based upon God coming in dream. Really. But to me what happened, God came in dream and told me that I never come in dreams. What do you get out of it? It's a false statement. Understand? It's a false statement. The statement is there, but it is false. Certain perceptions are false. In dream, whatever that we see is false. If we create a philosophy in dream, that also is false, understand? Unless it is right, okay? If it is right, already you had figured it out and you saw it in dream. But what I say is false. So my own projection, there is no relevant object and therefore you say it is false. Or even in dream, if there is a statement that is true, it is true. Suppose in dream if you say water boils in 100 degrees centigrade, it is true. It is true. In dream it is true, in waking it is true. Water flows finding its own level. If you say in dream, and here also it is true, there also it is true. Correct? And therefore, a true statement is a true statement. A false statement is a false statement. And therefore, and sometimes a perception is falsified. You see one thing and later, in the wake of better knowledge, what you see, your perception is falsified. And therefore, we have to use a word. What? Because human experience being there in terms of epistemological activity, in terms of knowing, you need to have a word, and that word is false. You need to have a word, non-existent, bilkul non-existence. But this is false perception. A snake exists and a rope exists, but the rope is being seen as snake. That is false perception. Swakale satyavad bhati prabodhe sati asad bhave. Swakale satyavad bhati. And in its own time it is like truth, but then afterwards it becomes false. And therefore, you need to have a word, false. What is that word? It is a word revealing your understanding of a thing being false. You understand? This is all understanding words. In terms of what? In terms of reality. This is false. Suppose you say, I see, therefore it exists. Suppose you say, I see, therefore it exists. That means all that we require is to see. So in dream also you see, here also you see a lot of things which don't exist, and you don't see it exists. That's why your hands are clean. Why hands are clean? Because you don't see anything else. And if you have a microscope, you can't do anything. With these hands, you will carry the hands like this and go. You won't touch yourself. And you will never shake hands with others. You have to sterilize your hand all the time. Some people are like that. It becomes compulsive. The whole day the fellow washing his hands. And so what I say, that just because you see, it doesn't exist. Just because you don't see, it doesn't cease to exist. Therefore, you should know that in fact what you see is always different from what is. You see one side, there is a back side you have to think of. Okay? What you see is very silly. And you don't see anything. You see a small star, which is good enough for making a song. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. That is all okay. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Little star? It is little star. But it is not little. It's different. So what you see is little. In fact, what you see is not even a little, little. You don't see anything proper. Everything ulta, ulta, ulta. Distorted. Things that exist you don't see. Things that exist also you don't see as they are. Unless you are able to see all the sides at the same time, is useless. You don't know your own body, you don't know properly. So you have to figure out the back must be there, okay. You have to. And therefore you don't see, you see very little. Okay? Let me concede. You see something. And therefore it's a false statement. I see, therefore it is, it's a false statement. So like this we have a number of illogical statements also. Not only perception, inferentially also we make howlers, not mistakes. We make howlers. Howlers means, a mistake for which you howl, not laugh, understand? So that kind of mistake, they're called howlers. So we commit such colossal mistakes. Inference mistake, perception mistakes. And if your eardrum is not working, the whole world is silent. Why people are not talking? and there's a big dynamite goes off. A dynamite goes off. And this fellow standing there, what is that smoking there? Everybody is closing the ears. In the poher dengra. So this fellow, he is saying, what is it that's smoking there? His world is full of silent world, understand? His world is all one silence. And some people, this is another thing, some people are tone deaf. One is tone deaf, the other is, stone deaf means deaf like a stone. The other one is tone deaf. So tone deaf means the person thinks I sing proper, in harmony with every other person. But the fellow is out. He is out in some pitch. So different. He joined the Gandharvas. And this some celestial pitch. There's nothing to do with the local pitch, understand? And this fellow is singing. Deaf. And he thinks he is in harmony with everybody else. This is exactly, only God can stand this Jaya Jagadishagare in any temple. In any temple. Jaya Jagadishagare, before Bhagavan, when they begin to sing, only Bhagavan can handle that. Nobody can handle. And the important person, the temple, there is always an important person in all these temples. There is one important person. Means what? The one who started with $50,000, he said he will pay over 25 years. And he was the first one. Became the secretary and became the president, permanent president. And his wife will start. Her pitch is celestial pitch. No human being can really. And then she will start. And everybody has to follow that. It's all self-glory. They build a temple for their own glory, not Bhagavan's glory. Mera temple. No. I did this. That's called North Indian temple, North American temples. Okay. Not all of them. What about this? Don't ask me. This is for your own glory, because it's not mine anyway. So it's more a learning place. What I say, there are there are things that we think they exist, they don't exist. We think they don't exist, they exist. This person doesn't see any disharmony in the pitch, but then there is a problem. And therefore, the human perception is highly inadequate. And based upon perceptual data, you make inferences, they become further. That is only the extended mistake. Perception is mistake. On that basis, another mistake you committed is an extended mistake. Nothing, therefore we do require a word to tell the mistake. A mistake in conclusion, a mistake in perception, a mistake in inference, a wrong step inference. You have to have a false, you have to call the bluff, and when you have to call the bluff, therefore you have a word called a bluff. Understand? You call the bluff, you call it false. Bluff doesn't have an object. It is your understanding of a statement, of a perception, of a perception, of a conclusion. And therefore, we need to have an ontological word, false, revealing our understanding. Understand? This is not an object. It is about an object, about your perception. That is object, about your perception, about your conclusion. We say it is false. Therefore, so once you say false, then something will come. This is true. Correct? This is true. This is true. This is real. This is the real thing. So this is the real thing. What is the real thing? Coke. The real thing. Real thing. So you need to have a word to point out your understanding, to reveal your understanding of something being true. The word true. I have no other way of saying it. So it is true. This is real. This exists. And therefore, now, understand. 3 words let us take. There are synonyms, but we want only 3 words for our purpose. And one is non-existent, equivalent to cham. I'm going to give up the English words. Therefore, make note of the Sanskrit word. English words are a little confusing to me. And therefore, to cham. Explain it is okay. To cham. Non-existence. Square circle. You know, we come to the same square now. Square circle. False. Foolish, intelligent man. Or we can say something false, a perception. Rope snake is false, that is better. Rope snake, false. It's false. Rope is real. Snake is real, correct? Snake is real. Don't think every snake is rope snake. You'll get into trouble. It's better to take the rope for snake and run away, but you can't take the snake for rope. Understand? And therefore, every snake is real as long as it is a snake. So snake is real. Rope is real. This, in the place where rope is, atasminne, Where there is no snake, you see snake. Atasmin tad buddhihi. Clean definition. It's not the rope is mistaken for snake. No. You can take snake for anything. Anything can be taken for snake. Therefore, a non-snake, that is the definition. A non-snake is taken for snake. Non-snake can be anything. Can be water hose. It can be streak of water. It can be a cleavage on the earth. It can be just some rope. Some mala. Flower, garland, drying, lying there. Somebody threw away, then you take it for snake. So anything can, therefore we say, atasmin tad buddhihi. Atasmin, in not that. Means where it is not, that object that you see is not there, tad buddhihi, that recognition, that is called adhyasa, that is false. Atasmin tad buddhihi. Then from that you can understand, then what is real? Tasmin tad buddhihi. So tasmin tad buddhihi. So what is there, and that you take it as it is, correct? So tasmin tad buddhihi is real. Real snake is there, sarpe sarpa buddhihi. Rajja rajju buddhihi. Buddhi means recognition, cognition. And therefore, so on if there is a sarpa, if there is a serpent, then you take it as sarpa. Real. This is how we live our life. Mahaganapatin manasa smarami Mahadeva mudam shirasa namami Mahaganapatin manasa smarami.